Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and Beer.
And beer.
Oh, yeah.
Just not one, not two, but three crazy Florida men drinking beer and talking about true crime.
The trifecta.
Yeah.
I'm Bill.
I'm Paul.
And welcoming back, and hasn't been here in a while, Todd.
Yeah. Your Uncle Toddzilla's back. At least for now. At least for tonight. Just kind of guessing, hanging out.
Yeah, we'll see how it...
Cat's walking in the background.
Yeah.
If I can move this a little bit. Make it a little bit better.
There we go.
There you go.
So,
Had to have me a sip of Angel's Envy.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. That's good stuff.
thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Bacardi and Coke.
well, the episode that we're covering tonight is kind of like a second part of an episode that Todd and I did way back when in episode 21, which was the Satanic Panic episode, about how, the Satanic Panic and how heavy metal was demonized for it.
Yes.
And in that episode, it was kind of like a potpourri episode. We just covered a whole bunch of different things. And it's one of our better early episodes. And it's also one of our longest episodes.
What? I don't remember.
It was like over 2.5 hours long, I believe.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, that would have been a long one.
Yeah.
We've done two-parters that are shorter than that.
Yeah. Well, that's the point of two-parters, making them so that they're not that long.
Right?
Freaking Willie Picton was a 4-part.
Oh, I bet that was brutal.
Oh, it was a really good series, but it was exhausting.
Yeah. Dude, I don't doubt it.
But so this episode is a Satanic Panic episode, and it's a case that it's one of the initial cases from the early 80s that fueled the Satanic Panic. And we're talking about Ricky Kasso, aka the Acid King. And we didn't touch on this story in episode 21, which I'm surprised, but that's all right, because if we had touched on it, the episode would have been like 15 minutes longer.
At that time, knowing us, it would have been 15 minutes longer, but we'd have been on for like 2 more hours.
Yeah.
Because after a few beers or a few rum and cokes, it's hard to stay on topic.
Speaking of which, oh God, we haven't done this in a while. What are you drinking, Todd?
Rum and coke.
Where's Powder Blue?
Oh, shit, I should have got Powder Blue. I'll get Powder Blue when we take a break. I didn't even think about it. I had this cup. I didn't even think about it. Actually, you know what? Let's get started. I don't even.
Yeah.
Powder Blue will make a show up later on in the episode.
Cool.
There you go.
And I'm of course drinking Bud Light.
Of course. Because what else would you be drinking?
I don't know. There was one episode where I was drinking lemonade with vodka.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Say what? Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
I miss all the fun stuff.
I don't remember what episode it was, but there was one episode where I was drinking, really weak. It was basically kind of, just like a splash of vodka and with lemonade.
Oh, okay.
It's quite good, actually.
Almost a splash. A little more
Almost
than
a splash.
Till the top of the bottle fell off.
It was when I was trying to ring in my alcoholism, and I've pretty much got it under control now. I don't really drink unless I'm doing the podcast anymore.
So you started drinking vodka and what, lemonade, like a poor man's screwdriver because you couldn't afford orange juice?
I didn't want orange juice.
But you did that to control your alcoholism. I don't understand that.
For one episode. I
For
did.
one episode?
I did the entire BTK series drinking water.
Oh.
That's what made it rough.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't know. It probably made it better because when we did it, we were drunk as hell, and
I deleted.
terrible.
I deleted the original 2 BTK episodes.
Oh,
they're
so
gone.
don't tell anybody to listen to it. Don't listen to it anymore. It's just gone.
It's just gone.
Cool.
I don't want to say,
needs to be gone.
hey, check out our BTK episode, and it's really good. Really happy with it. And they go back and they find those 2. And they're like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Not the first ones. Don't listen to the first ones. God, we were idiots.
God, those episodes are gone. But anyway. I have no ado. Do either of you?
I do not.
Just thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I almost forgot. As usual, my usual self. I got into playing my damn video game, and I looked at the time, and it was 8:00, and I'm like, shit, go get my phone. And like Bill called like a minute later.
So anyway,
hey, but at least this time I looked at the clock and knew that, and but yeah.
So Paul, he doesn't have the banner up, but he's wearing the T-shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
I do have the banner, but I didn't put it up. I thought about it when you asked me this afternoon or whatever. We talked. I was like, should I put the banner up? And I'm like, nah, I'll just wear the shirt.
There you go.
Because Paul and I were wondering if you were going to do it or not. If you're going to have the banner up.
Yeah. Well, if I was going to have the banner up, then I'd have to be like this. I'd be just like.
Your head would be in
like
the corner. Yeah.
I'd be like this so you couldn't see.
Be like, what was his name? Nelson on Home Improvement?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the guy that was always hiding his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be me. Wilson,
yeah. Not Nelson. Nelson was the douchebag on Simpsons.
Oh,
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, let's get into this thing, shall we?
Yes, let's start, shall we?
Ricky Kasso was a 17-year-old high school dropout / murderer. And with the help of his friends, 18-year-old Jimmy Troiano and Albert Quinones, they helped fuel the Satanic Panic. And on June 19th, 1984, he killed another friend of his, 17-year-old Gary Lawyers. Most of his crew had dropped out of school, and they were, basically just sponging off of whoever would let them crash on their couch, shed or backyard or whatever. And one thing we're going to find out is, just like when it comes to the Satanic Panic and who they wanted to blame, which obviously was heavy metal music and Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot.
Right.
One thing we need to, if you want to point a finger at anybody, it's the parents.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And so this, Ricky, he had a bad go at it, but that doesn't excuse anything.
Is this going to be one of those where we feel sorry for him when he's younger, and then?
Well, he's young throughout the entire thing, but yes.
Okay.
But he still does a lot of douchebaggery.
Oh, it happens.
The murder took place in the Azteca woods of Northport, New York, on Long Island. And all 4 of the boys were on mescaline or LSD, aka acid.
Mm-hmm. I know that LSD and acid are the same thing, but our audience does too.
Yeah. Well, we should.
Yeah.
What did you say, Paul?
Huh?
What did you say?
Well, LSD and acid are the same thing, but I'm sure our audience does too.
Well, yeah, but they didn't. They didn't. They didn't know.
The kids didn't know?
No. I mean, I didn't really go into this and everything, but they were doing like angel dust. They had these like little micro dots and all that stuff, and they're like selling it as like as something else, but it was basically just basically low grade LSD.
That should get you killed. I mean, what were they selling it as? Did it say?
Angel dust, LSD. Angel dust is basically just stripped down. Stripped down
Angel dust PCP?
Yeah, it's
Angel dust was PCP.
Yeah, it is PCP, but mixed with something else, isn't it? To cut it.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've never done that, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, if they, I mean, is it a powder? If it's a powder, then they mix it with baby laxative or whatever else, like they do cocaine. I would assume.
Well,
don't ask me how I know that.
Powder comes on. Powder comes in later.
A friend told me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't Bill.
No.
Anyway,
I've never really dabbled into drugs. I've smoked pot 7 times in my entire life.
If you tell somebody you're selling them one thing and they end up with something else, they're gonna be mad. Shots are gonna get fired.
Yeah, but when you're dealing with teenagers, I think they're just cool to get anything that'll get them high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you're selling to like first timers or something, sure, they won't know the difference.
Well, and if that's all they're used to, because that's all they can afford, then that's what they're going to be happy with.
Yeah, right. Wait till they get the real stuff and die.
I know that the audience knows that and everything. I only brought it up because Ricky Kasso had several nicknames, one of which was the Acid King.
Oh.
This murder made national news because of the torture that was apparent on Gary Lawyer's body. There was occult paraphernalia found on the scene. That factored in with the fact that Ricky Kasso was wearing an AC/DC shirt when he was arrested.
Not Pink Floyd.
and he was also a fan of Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, and the Osmonds.
And the Osmonds.
Okay, maybe not the Osmonds, but you get the point.
All right, I got you. I'm sure he liked some kind of pop in there somewhere too. We all did back in the day. We just didn't want to tell nobody about it.
I liked ABBA.
Yeah, I liked ABBA. Or what was that band, Lip Sync, that did Funky Town? Everybody loved that song. It didn't matter what you were.
Yeah, but no, I put the bum on there because it was the Satanic Panic.
Oh yeah. So we know who's getting blamed. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting blamed. So are you, Todd, and you probably you too, Paul.
Oh yeah.
Because Paul likes heavy metal.
Oh.
I've recently gotten him into Sabaton.
Oh, yeah, that's a good band.
But at this time, like we talked about in our Satanic Panic episode way back in episode 21, heavy metal music and Dungeons and Dragons were the primary scapegoats for any and all things deemed to be satanic by panic-stricken parents and a media that was all too happy to blame music and a game for any crime that had even a little bit of darkness to it.
And I don't see how D&D got blamed for that. D&D was played by a bunch of nerds, man.
I know. Well,
yeah.
The majority of these guys are just nerds.
Yeah.
Really? They're metalhead.
Okay.
They're metalhead nerds. The only one that really went into the satanic aspect of it was Ricky Kasso.
All right.
And we're going to get into that.
Did he play D&D?
No, he didn't.
See, there you go.
But
that's my point exactly.
He was a kid in the corner of the room while everybody else was playing.
Right.
Well, I just brought up D&D doesn't come up. D&D doesn't come up in this story, but D&D was,
you know how it got blamed for that, right?
Yeah, because one because they were live action playing it, and somebody got killed in a pipe somewhere.
Yeah. Well, there was that movie called Monsters and Mazes, or Mazes and Monsters, with Tom Hanks back in the 80s, which is exactly what that is.
Oh. Like
he played the game and I don't know, somehow got possessed by something, or I never watched the movie. I just know of it.
It's just like when that one guy that got killed, or that was killed a couple of people or whatever. When he got arrested, he's like, "I'm a natural born killer, man." or like when the Aurora Theater shooting happened, and everything, and they blamed the Batman movie for it.
The Batman movie.
Yeah, because he came in there dressed as Bane.
Huh.
And
what, new Bane or like comic Bane?
New Bane.
Oh.
But so this mindset of blaming anything weird or scary has not gone away.
No.
And it probably never will.
No, I don't think so. Because nobody wants to take the blame themselves for anything. So
right.
Got to blame something.
Yep.
The occult aspect had its origins with Kasso, which we'll get to, but he was not a devil-worshipping Satanist. But that didn't stop the media from latching onto the satanic narrative and running with it. Sources for this episode are rollingstone.com, the Acid King doc on Tubi, and allthatisinteresting.com, and a little bit of wiki.
A little bit of wiki.
But there are lots of podcast episodes about this guy, but surprisingly, none of the ones that I listen to have covered him. It's weird. There's about 12 podcast episodes out there about Ricky Kasso, and none of them are any that I had even heard of.
Wow.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
One thing you're going to get on our episode is a story from the point of view of not one, not two, but three heavy metal musicians who were kids at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul's a musician too, Todd.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my percussion.
No, right on.
Yeah. Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just need another pedal.
You sure you're not a guitar player?
Yeah, you sure you're not me? Because
but
I have so many pedals that I bought and used once, or not at all.
Oh, wow.
Northport, New York was in the 80s a really nice and quiet place to live on Long Island. It was a quaint fishing and artsy town, peaceful, located on the Long Island Sound. It was growing as sprawl from New York City was encroaching as New York City grew like a weed. But Long Island, to this day, is still a nice place for the most part, except for that one serial killer.
There's always that one bad apple.
Yeah, Lisk. The Long Island serial killer. That's somebody who will cover it. We're going to cover that one at some point, but I'm going to wait until all the dust has fallen, and that case is done, because now they know who he is.
Right.
Yeah, we'll cover it when it's over with. Same thing with this Idaho guy that killed the college kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with him. Once the dust is settled on that, then we'll cover it. But it seemed like a nice place to me when I was there, but I have been there.
Let me guess, you drove a truck through there one time.
I did.
Everywhere. It's always that way. Has he been that way still, like Bill? Or has he always been like, I've been there? I drove through that town once.
Yeah.
Like every episode we did, he's like, I've been there. Well, I guess when you're a truck driver, though, you can't help but be everywhere. But still, it was just like Bill would talk about a place and go, I bet you've been there.
I still do that, don't I, Paul?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've digressed it. So carry on.
That's all right. But if you can't make it in old New York, you might be able to make it in Long Island.
All right.
But Richard Allen Kasso was born March 29, 1967 on Long Island to Richard Dick and Lynn Kasso.
His name was Richard Dick.
Well, he actually went by Dick. That was like most people.
Okay.
Parentheses.
Yeah, I just put emphasis on Dick.
Okay. Never mind. Because I was going to say, if his name was really Dick, that was just terrible.
Yeah.
His parents had to fucking hate him.
Man. Double Dick Kasso. God.
Yeah, right? Anywho.
Richard Kasso Sr. was a hard-ass parent who was obsessed with his kids being in sports. He was also a high school history teacher and a football coach, and Lynn was also a school teacher. And Ricky, when he was in junior high, he was starting to get into football and everything, but that didn't last very long. In childhood, Ricky had a perfectly ordinary life, a good upbringing. He was a skinny little kid who wasn't intimidating to anyone. Fuck. He wanted for nothing, and he and his siblings were loved. And I guess it was tough love because his father would beat him relentlessly and even kicked him out of the house at 13 years old.
That's where it started.
Yeah, there it is.
He cut Ricky off from the family at 16 years old, but he would later tell a different version of the incident, which we will get to. So put a knife in that. Ricky would always show up to school with bruises, and this was basically when Ricky hit puberty. And before that, none of this abuse had happened. But to cope, Ricky started drinking, and being in a fishing town, it wasn't hard for him to find people that would get him alcohol. But Dick Sr. said that Ricky had faulty wiring, which came out when he hit puberty.
He simply hit puberty. Happens to every kid, man.
Yeah.
Happens to everybody.
Yeah. And it reminds me of something. When I was in fifth grade, I think it was, I had this science teacher named Mr. Blackwood. It was at Holland Elementary School in Satellite Beach. And he was talking to us and everything. I'm fifth grade. And also fifth grade was like when I was, like if I hadn't already started, it was right before I started pushing back against my upbringing,
Right.
but he's just like, yeah, well, as you guys are like 10, 11, 12. I don't remember how old I was, but years old and everything. Things are going to happen to you and everything. You're going to have a hard time controlling your emotions. It's going to happen. He's basically telling us what happens with puberty. And I went home and I told my mom this, and my mom's just like, oh, okay, whatever. And then coincidentally, it happened.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I had, whatever. I mean, I was becoming a man, but every time I would get into a fight with my mom, and especially when I really actually did start pushing back, my mom's just like, ever since Mr. Blackwood said that, you've been an asshole. Well, she didn't say asshole, but you've been unbearable. I was like, well, it happened.
You're right. What are you supposed to do?
Oh my God. Yeah, when I was doing the notes on this, that just struck a chord with me, because it's just like, no, my rebelling wasn't because I was going through puberty. It was because Mr. Blackwood told me that.
Because he said you would.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Predictive programming.
Right?
Yeah. And due to how Dick treated Ricky, he became antisocial. He then turned to rock and heavy metal music, but with hormones raging, he rebelled against Dick, who thought that he was just rebelling because he was a bad kid. Sounds familiar.
All right.
He went to, he got sick, and he was taken to Long Island Jewish Hospital. And when he was there, his parents tried to have him committed.
Whoa.
And they looked him over, and they determined that he didn't need to be institutionalized, and and they released him. I guess they gave him a Pepsi while he was in there.
All he wanted was a Pepsi.
But
I wanted just one Pepsi.
But Dick kicked him out of the house when he was 13 and in 7th grade. So he couldn't get a...
Damn.
Yeah. Tough love, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's nothing you can do. You can't get a job. I mean, I guess you could, but you ain't going to make enough money to survive.
No, he got a job. He got a job.
Oh, yeah?
He had to eat, so he got in with a drug dealer as a seller for acid.
Yeah, I guess that'll do it.
Yeah. And his main clientele at the time were transient fishermen, and because of that, he was able to get food. But kids hung out there around the docks as well, smoking weed, dropping acid, drinking. Ricky was already drinking and smoking pot, so he obviously fell in with that crowd. Ricky would sleep at friends' places, and when he couldn't find that, he'd go to abandoned buildings, unlocked cars, the woods, or even public bathrooms.
Ouch. You know where that leads.
And I'm just gonna say, I don't care what's going on with your 13-year-old. You don't kick your 13-year-old out of the fucking house unless they're like physically threatening you and stuff like that. And at that point, you call the authorities. You don't you don't just say, "Hey, go live on the street, you fuck." You don't do that.
Yeah, well, some people do. I mean, it happens. It shouldn't, but
every time it happens, nothing good ever came of it.
Yeah, that's true. But not everybody's whatever. I was gonna say, not everybody's smart like us, but you see the shit that happens in Florida, so.
Oh yeah.
Even though none of us do that shit, but still, everybody blames everybody in Florida for that. So we're all Florida men.
Yep. Ricky became street hardened, and he began using acid as well as pot and, of course, alcohol. He was also a well-known drug. I was doing so good. Got 5 pages in without even fumbling once, and
I know.
Damn.
Had to happen sooner or later.
It was bound to. But he was also a known drug dealer for acid. He ate bread and hot dogs because they were cheap, and most of the money he made selling acid paid for the drugs that he was using. So he was using his own stash.
Ooh.
No, man, you don't get high on your own supply.
Mm-mm. During that time, Ricky became obsessed with the occult from spending time in the library. What else was he supposed to do with his free time?
Yeah, then have a home to go to chill out. Some bookworm dives into Hemingway.
Yeah, right. Hey, well, at least he was trying.
Some go to Anton LaVey.
Yeah, well, Anton LaVey was not as bad a guy as people make him out to be. But
well, he did dive into the Satanic Bible written by Anton LaVey. But he totally did, and he didn't do this because he actually believed in Satan.
Anyone who believes in Satan, the Satanic Bible doesn't worship Satan either.
Yep,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, like Satanists as they are today are basically atheists. Am I right, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, like the church, Anton LaVey's like the Church of Satan and the Satanic Bible. It's all about depending on yourself to make yourself better.
Right.
Is what it comes down to. I mean, yes, you've seen them on TV. They do those rituals and shit, but nobody gets killed. Nothing gets killed.
Yeah.
It's all about, it says you pick what you want to be and you make yourself the best at it.
And basically the whole thing about like chanting Hail Satan and stuff like that with an Anton LaVey type Satanist is just basically to scare people. Yeah, they're atheists. They don't actually sit there and worship Satan.
Yeah, they're not worshiping like Satan as the devil. It's Satan to them means something else. Yeah. And I can't remember. But it's like I said, it's kind of like Freemasons, all just about making yourself better, trying to be a better, whatever you pick. If you want to be an artist, make yourself the best artist you can be. If you want to be a musician, make yourself the best musician you can be.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a real basic interpretation of it. There's more to it than that, but that's basically what it comes down to, from my understanding anyway.
Law of attraction.
Yeah. But they also, I'm pretty sure they hammer on don't kill anybody.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they don't like their rituals. They don't, I mean, all right, they have like orgies and shit, but they don't kill people.
Yeah, well, you can go on OnlyFans and see all the orgies you want.
Only in the movies.
Only in the movies is Satanism. Like, yeah. Anyway,
right. Yeah, I'm just referencing our last episode with Aubrey Moore, the porn star.
Oh yeah.
So, but Ricky was that guy though. I mean, he did it to give himself status and to be scary.
Oh yeah.
He began wearing black and spraying pentagrams and inverted cross graffiti and acting like, what he thought that Satanists act like, which is basically what the cult like stuff was in the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was part, there was a group of like older pot dealers and everything that ran together. It was called the Knights of the Black Circle. But and Ricky was not actually a member of said group, but he knew them. It's basically just a gang name, and these guys put together this group and everything because they were basically metalheads and everything, but they were like pot dealers and stuff like that. So but they were getting, I mean, the drug trade in Northport at the time was, there was a lot of it going on. So they just like started wearing black and everything just for intimidation factor, and it worked. People stopped messing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they weren't Satanists. I mean, it's just a gang name, but the media pounced on it after Ricky's murder, labeling it as a satanic cult.
Of course.
It's a good defense.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You want to blend in, man.
Yeah, but they did.
Yeah, right.
But
don't stand out.
but Ricky kind of got his own thing going, and he was just like, it's like organizing ceremonies in the woods in Northport and everything, and Ricky and a couple of his friends, not the Knights of the Black Circle. The Knights of the Black Circle honestly probably would have looked at Ricky and just been like, dude, grow some pubes and come back and talk to us. No, they weren't dicks, but Ricky was, he knew them. He wasn't part of them. But Ricky and some of his friends also celebrated Wild Purgis night on the lawn of the Amityville Horror House. They actually did that. And do you know about Wild Purgis night, Todd?
Walpurgis, yeah, it's like Halloween, but not. I think.
Well, What I found was that Wall Purchase Night was a celebration where fires are lit to ward off witches.
Okay.
But I saw I saw several different descriptions of it, but that was the one that I found the most of.
Ah, I see. That's probably it makes sense.
But put a knife in that.
Oh God, dude. Aren't you going to run out of knives? Or you got more knives? You probably have more knives than I did.
I've got a lot of knives.
A lot of knives.
Oh, man. There was at least 10 knives in the North Cow Rapist episode. So Gary Lawyers was a pothead that Ricky smoked with. The two had known each other since second grade, and then they met up again. They smoked pot together. They talked about Satan. Gary initially, was a decent guy, friendly to everyone, but he always had a sad demeanor about him. But he started breaking into houses and selling the things that he stole, so that nice and emo demeanor went away real quick.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Ricky, on the other hand, began selling and using stronger drugs, angel dust, PCP, and he would go all the way into New York City to get these drugs, and he apparently didn't know the rules about not hitting your own stash. Yeah, he was still sleeping on the streets in the woods, even in one of his friend's shed behind the house, but if he wasn't hooked on drugs, he probably could have put together a comfy life for himself by selling drugs.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, until he gets caught.
Yeah. But still, I mean, look back to, Todd, look back to the James Keene and Larry Hall episode. James Keene was a frickin' multi-millionaire from the drugs that he was dealing, before he got busted.
Right.
But he wasn't a druggie. He wasn't using his own stash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can be a druggie and sell drugs. You just have to keep your selling drugs away from your personal drugs.
Right. Well, Ricky wasn't doing that.
I mean, come on, dude. Everybody's seen Scarface.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a textbook lesson in what not to do.
Well, so is this story.
Yeah, very true.
But in the angel dust and PCP and everything else that he was taking on a regular basis turned him into an aggressive and unhinged person. You don't mix it. You don't mix it. And Ricky's favorite place to go and hang out was dense forest called the Azteca Woods. That's where he'd go drink, do drugs, try to contact Satan. And what started off as a gimmick turned into a delusional reality because of all the psychedelic drugs that he was using. And he used a lot more than most. Like I said, he would use what he got, and although he was able to pay for it, and he never had anybody after him because he owed like a upper level drug dealer any money, but put a knife in that. He had this thing where he would take 3 hits of acid, then a couple hours later he would take 4 more, and then 4 or 5 hours later he would take 2.
Whoa!
So he would take 10, 10 at a time over the course of a night.
Gee.
So yeah, his brain was fried.
You think?
Damn.
Jesus. Dude, back in the day when I was doing that, you'd take 1 and you'd be tripping until the next night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't start off doing it like that, but he built up a tolerance to it. Yeah. But still, 10?
Yeah, that's too much.
But it was probably those micro dots or whatever that was just, probably like
sometimes that stuff is strong, dude. It's not, just because it's called microdot doesn't mean it's called microdot because it's a small dot on the piece of paper, but the whole paper is coated with acid.
Yeah, true.
Or at least that was my understanding of it.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know what I did. We just got it from someone we knew and just ate it.
I've said
away we went.
I've said on several episodes that I would like to try a psychedelic, but the way that my brain works and how analytical I am, it would probably destroy my mind.
Yeah, start off with mushrooms or something.
Yeah. Mushrooms ain't that bad.
Yeah, but they turn up on a drug test. I'm a truck driver, so.
But it's probably best you don't.
Yeah.
Yep. But during his time in the woods, he met a man who was 23 years older than him, a Vietnam veteran with PTSD named Pat Toussaint. Okay. He was a burnout, and he looked even older than he actually was, and he was a, quote, practitioner of the occult. And he had several nicknames, which were what?
Pagan Pat, Grandpa Dirt, and Father Time.
Yep.
I love it. Father Time, that's freaking great.
Yeah. He told stories about being a heroin dealer. He was always paranoid about the cops being after him. And, Pat encouraged Kasso in his occult interest, or more or less, probably less, mentored him in it.
Yeah. Damn.
Apprentice.
Always two there are.
No more, no less.
A master and an apprentice.
During this time, you know what? Between Todd, I'm ashamed of both you and me, because not one of us has mentioned death sticks yet this episode.
No. Well, dude, that was what just did my first Star Wars reference.
I know.
With Paul's help. Paul helped. He had to help. He helped.
Yeah,
he said apprentice.
That's what made me think of it, though. It's just like, we haven't mentioned death sticks yet.
There wasn't an opportunity for it yet.
Oh, okay. I ruined it. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't ruin it. It's fine.
Well, you cheapened it for when you would have come, mentioned it later organically.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Because honestly, I hadn't thought of it either until you said it, so it's fine. You didn't mess up nothing. It's all good, brother.
It's the script within the script.
Yeah.
Yes.
During this time, Kasso was crashing at Jimmy Troiano's apartment, and Jimmy was making lots of money dealing in items that he stole from houses, and he bought lots of drugs. He tried to get Kasso to join him on his burglaries, but he refused. But they decided to start causing trouble in town instead. We're two wild and crazy guys.
Yeah, because that's a much better idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know, but he didn't scare anybody. He thought he was, Kasso during this crazy, crazy stint in town.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't something he did all the time. This is just something they just came up with. No, I don't want to go rob places, but let's go in town and fuck with people.
Yeah.
So Kasso would just run up to people and hiss like a snake and then run off.
All right.
Oh.
Of course.
What's he trying to do? Build an insanity defense?
No, he hasn't even thought about killing anybody at this point that we know of.
Well,
But he thought he was scaring people when all he was doing is making an ass out of himself.
Yeah.
There was also a head shop that he liked to hang out at, and and he had bought drug paraphernalia from there. That's also where he bought the knife that he would later kill Gary with.
Oh, poor Gary.
Kasso was eventually allowed to come home and go back to school, but he was a heavy drug addict at the time, and he was expelled for skipping classes. What did you think was going to happen?
Dude, he could have made a fortune in school. He should have fucking just wrote it out.
Yeah.
That's true.
But, when you're high all the time, you don't think about things like that.
Or when you're a hormone raging teenager that's like fucked up on every drug known to man.
Yeah.
If fentanyl was
a limit on the things you can do.
Yeah, if fentanyl was a thing back then, he would have been on it too.
God, dude.
Oh yeah.
He probably
bad news.
Well, he probably would have offed himself on that. I'm going to build up a tolerance.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that.
No.
1 grain too much.
Yeah. And you're dead.
Surprise! You're dead.
Open your eyes.
I think that's the first Faith No More reference we've ever had on this podcast.
Yes, I believe. But I can remember anyway.
But
that was one of the better songs too.
Yeah, it was. It was pre-Epic. It was on the album before Epic.
Yeah.
But his parents once again had him, put him in the hospital, and they actually had him committed at South Oaks Hospital. They actually admitted him.
Oh.
He was there for 11 weeks, and he escaped 5 times, and he even attempted suicide.
Oh, my.
Wow.
But like Carl Panzram, you didn't think Carl Panzram was going to come up in this episode, did you?
No, I didn't.
Like Carl Panzram, Kasso realized that if he told the doctors exactly what they wanted to hear, they'd let him go. So he told them that he would go back to school and stop worshiping Satan, and it worked, and Kasso was released.
Oh, man.
Will they ever learn?
Actually, Panzram was more convincing, I'm sure. Okay, it worked. It worked, and Kasso was released. And what they really should have done was just put him in a frickin' mental institution
for white boys.
Oh my God!
We
were just talking about that in an episode, in a recent episode.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it, so I don't know. Fuck, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not an idiot. I just play one on the internet.
So it worked, and Kasso was released, and he returned home, but he was quickly thrown out again. And he dropped out of school and then returned to drug dealing and living on the streets, and of course he did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh shit! I almost fell.
But he was now. If you do, Paul, don't cut that.
I'm trying really hard not to, but every now and then I start to lean back. Oh no! Don't lean back. You go over.
But at this point, Kasso was convinced that he was in touch with Satan. He would go into graveyards and get loaded with enough angel dust to kill an African bush elephant and start chanting.
What do those sound like?
From both of y'all's reactions, I think you know exactly where I got that from. Okay, news junkie.
Yeah.
I had to go there. News junkie on Real Radio 104.1 on iHeart. So. But he would have conversations that he believed were with Satan. He was tripping so hard that he actually believed that it was happening when it was just him talking back and forth to himself, kind of like Dave Mustaine in the Sweating Bullets video. Hello, me, meet the real me. Oh, yeah. You know.
You sure it wasn't Palpatine? Because he's been the voice in his head the entire time.
Yeah.
Could have been.
See? Yeah, another Star Wars referencing.
But he didn't have any. He didn't have a woman that was like afraid of losing or anything like that.
Oh, so he wasn't a dyad? Okay.
No.
And whatever stupid other bullshit they made up to fix that movie. God damn, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Agreed.
I mean, dude, I applaud George Lucas for the amount of money that he made and the amount of stock that he got in Disney. So he's still making ungodly amounts of money, but they butchered Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, he makes more money in 5 seconds than I make in a month.
Not doing nothing, just sitting there.
Yeah.
Although it has been cool seeing him show up like on The Mandalorian and stuff, and like he's not really saying you got to do it this way, but he's just kind of there going, guess it's all right.
Yeah.
Filoni and Favreau are doing a decent job, but it's still Disney.
Exactly. I haven't watched any of The Acolyte yet.
I haven't either. I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait till it's done.
Yeah, I am too.
Because if it's terrible, I'm not gonna.
I'll have to. Yeah, I canceled Disney after the Bad Batch was over, so I'll wait till it's done and then just pay for 1 month and watch all of it.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do too, because I don't have Disney anymore either. But yeah,
because it's not getting good reviews.
No, it isn't.
Hashtag, but I digress.
Yeah, we went on a Star Wars rant.
It happens, but
especially with us.
Yeah. Well, I think Paul and I have gone on some Star Wars rants before, or Star Wars digressions before. I think.
I think a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, we all grew up in the age of good Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
There's only been one Spaceballs reference since Paul's been on the show, though, and it.
That was I think
that was on the last episode too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the NorCal rapist episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, he was tripping so hard that he believed it, and we all know what that looked like to anybody not tripping balls who happened to see that looked like. It looked like the video for Sweating Bullets by Megadeth.
Yeah. Or Fight Club.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that? Those guys walking out of that bar and watch this guy beat himself up. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm kicking my ass, okay? Do you mind?
Right? Some guy in a bar sold me death sticks and now I'm beating my ass.
But he would
get it in there.
He would make audio tapes of nothing but him talking, with the like noises around him, and claimed that if you listen hard enough, you could hear the devil talking.
Oh yeah.
Some people believed that he was legit, but really he was just only using it as a way to be a rebel. And he was probably tripping like really hard.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was probably already lost, insane.
Right. And Kasso actually did start trying to, begins trying to start a cult. And that right there tells you this bullshit, because nobody wakes up one day and says, you know what? I think I'll start a cult. It always starts out with something else that then becomes a cult.
Yeah. You don't just
so
go out and start a cult.
So no cult outro on this one.
No, this doesn't get the cult outro. No. Sorry, Ricky.
That's good, because I didn't put that in there. Crap. Gonna have to load that up. Crap.
Oh, you'd have been pissed at me if I said, "Oh, by the way, drop the cult outro into this."
That's good. There's editing time.
Right? Yeah, because then we would have been like, Okay, what are we talking about while he's loading that up?
No cult.
That's going to get edited out anyway.
Because it wasn't cult. It wasn't a cult. So therefore, no cult outro. Sorry, Ricky.
Sweet.
He didn't have the riz to start a cult.
Nope. But when this attempt to start a cult failed, the Knights of the Black Circle, he started, trying to, hanging around with them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they had jean jackets with their logo patch on the back of them, which featured the name and an inverted pentagram. And it was just to look scary, and it worked because, like I said earlier, none of their rivals messed with them after that.
Oh, yeah, dude. I put all kinds of, like, Slayer and Metallica and Megadeth back patches on the back of my jean jacket in high school.
Oh, so did I.
We all did.
Mm-hmm.
And every other patch and pin you could friggin' buy from...
Yeah. Did you do that, Paul?
Did you do that? Yeah. And if I didn't have it, I'd hang out with all of them that did.
What patch did you have on the back of yours of your jean jacket?
Metallica.
Metallica, yeah. Master Puppets.
Master Puppets, Ride Lightning.
Yeah, Ride Lightning's a good one.
Yeah.
I had let's see, I think I had Dokken, Back for the Attack on...
That's not scary.
One of mine. There's a song on that album called Mr. Scary.
That's just because that's what they call... George Lynch called that guitar, dude. That has nothing to do with being scary.
It was a scary guitar. It was a scary instrumental. But I also had one with like the alternate version, the original version of Stripers to Hell with the Devil. And Todd's about to call me a poser.
No, that's Stripers a good band, but we were talking about patches that you put on the back of your jacket to be scary. That's not scary. That's all I'm going to say. Dude, that's like Hell with the Devil's a good record.
Yeah, it is.
You know what's...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I find it funny that this guy is trying to bank himself out as a Satanist when you said earlier that they celebrated Walpurgisnacht on
the Amityville Horror House. Yeah.
Yeah, but Walpurgisnacht is a Christian holiday. It has nothing to do with Satan. Did you say that and I didn't hear it?
I didn't say that, but I basically I said it was a holiday where people like put up torches and stuff to ward off witches.
Witches, yeah, but it was actually like a Christian holiday. So how are you trying to worship Satan and celebrating a Christian holiday?
Yeah, he didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't know that. Drugs
are bad. Okay.
he heard Walpurgisnacht sounded evil, so he's like, let's do that.
Although there were, like I said, I picked the one that had the most references to it, but there were some that said that it was like a dark satanic type holiday or whatever. But I just
looked up the wiki.
Huh? I
just looked up the wiki.
Oh, okay.
Said everything about it.
Okay.
It's like a Christian and whatever.
Okay. And listeners, if you want to contest us on that, light us up in the comments.
Yeah, because Wiki always tells the truth.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
When I said the little bit of Wiki at the beginning of this episode, that was the little bit that I was talking about. Yeah. But I did look it up, and that version was the best, and Wiki actually explained it the best. So there we go. But they didn't do any rituals, but they were blamed for a rash of. Okay, we're talking about the Knights of the Black Circle. They didn't do any. Yeah. They didn't do any rituals, but they were blamed for a rash of missing pets. But Kasso might have been the one that did that on his own.
Oh, that's where Fluffy went.
But nobody believed that the Knights were satanic other than boomers. And what I mean by boomers was parents at that time of teenagers.
Yep.
Yep.
But Kasso was doubling down on the satanic thing. He became convinced that he was going to become Satan's right-hand man, and he was even arrested for digging up a colonial grave to steal a skull.
Ooh.
Oh, dude. A colonial grave?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Put a knife in that.
Thank God you got the knives this time.
You got to see how he gets the knives back at the end of the show. And that's a secret for all the listeners.
Oh.
But the media reported that he did steal a skull and a hand from said grave, but it wasn't Kasso.
Okay.
It was another kid from the high school, 16-year-old Grandy Guthler, and a friend. They stole a hand and a skull of a man named Joseph Morell, who had died in 1930 from a mausoleum, and they did it to sell it at a New York City shop for $500.
Okay. Was it a head shop?
Oh, that was good.
Probably.
Yeah, right? Make a bong out of that or something.
But Kasso then decided that he wanted to do it too, and he dug up an old grave. And this was going to be part of their Amityville Horror House ritual, which would help summon Satan. Satin.
Did you write it that way, or is that how it was?
Ricky Kasso was a lot of things, but one thing that he wasn't was a good speller.
Speller. So that was actually how it was spelled. You didn't misspell it.
Right. In his writings, he spelled Satan, Satin.
Hooked on phonics worked good for him.
There you go.
His friend
drop out of school.
His friend Father Time told him that they needed a skull to go to the Amityville Horror House and to perform a ritual for Satan. But if Father Time was the real deal, he'd know that the Amityville Horror was a big hoax cooked up by Ed and Lorraine Ed fucking somebody.
Yeah, those two.
Ed and go ahead, Paul.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah. Todd's doing the fucking counting.
Hey, I still remember some of the shit I used to do. The counting's the best because.
Yeah, watch the YouTube video if you're listening to it on audio. Definitely. He never found a skull, but they went to the Amityville Horror House to perform a ritual in Satan's honor. And why they didn't get run off for that, I don't know. But they apparently didn't.
Well, you know.
But the graveyard vandalism was discovered and reported to police. But the hand and the skull that the other kid had dug up was found, and Kasso was arrested for it. As Kasso was being processed, he was searched, and they found papers with information about Satanism and demons in his pocket. A news reporter wanted to interview Kasso on TV.
I'm sure that went over well.
Yeah, right.
Not sure. The interview somehow was lost, but still, he said that he went through a devil worshipping and drug using phase.
Went through, like it was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I went through. That's just like him. I went through a podcast phase.
No, that was me.
No, that doesn't work for this, Todd.
I know.
No, it works if I say I went through
Yeah.
podcast phase, or I went through a heavy metal phase.
Well, I did. I'm currently going through an EDM reggae phase, which is interesting.
Ooh, the EDM version.
Yeah, like reggae. No, like writing and making like reggae dubstep.
Sweet.
But
anyway,
everything he did was just for attention. He wasn't a Satanist. He was just that little poser running up to people and hissing. but the people began to blame heavy metal as everyone did during the Satanic Panic. And you know what? Look, I'm not. Do I feel bad for his upbringing? Yeah, but you know what? He's already a fucking douchebag that I don't care about. It's not like fucking Pan's Ram where we went 2 fucking episodes feeling bad for the guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, 1.5 because that was only a 3-part. But but still, no, he's a fucking douchebag. He's a fucking total. His brain is completely fried, and he's just like. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and I've known people like that before. And it's just you'd be doing them a favor if you just I won't go there, but you know what I mean.
Got another knife? You run out yet?
I wasn't thinking about a knife.
Yeah,
but everything he did, I already said that. Kasso was charged with violating the public health law. I mean, they eventually found out that it wasn't him that actually stole the skull in the hand, but they did, charge him for violating the public health law for the grave desecration that he did do, and he was given a June court date, 1984, and Gary Lawyers was having legal issues of his own. One night he was at a skating rink and he had a bunch of money and he threw it up into the air and he watched the people scramble to get it.
He made it rain.
Before it was a thing.
Yeah. He might have been the first person to ever make it rain. But he had stolen that money from a friend's father. He was on probation for trespassing, assault, and theft, and he had dropped out of school and gotten fired from his job washing dishes. And
how do you get fired from being a dishwasher?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Dude, that's the easiest job in a restaurant, man.
I don't know.
Trust me, I fired my share of dishwashers though because they were drug addicts. But yeah, I guess that's how you get fired as a dishwasher.
You just answered your own question.
I answered my own question. Yeah, I should have thought that through a little bit better.
He started stealing from friends to make money, and most of his friends forgave him, but not all of them.
Say it ain't so.
Ricky Kasso was a lot of things, but forgiving wasn't one of them.
I was an insane drug dealer. I wouldn't imagine he would be.
Remember when I said that even though Ricky Kasso was using his own drug supply, he didn't owe anybody money for drugs?
Yeah.
The same could not be said for Gary. They were partying one night in the Azteca woods, and Gary stole 10 packets of angel dust from Gary's jacket. Gary stole 10 packets of angel dust from Kasso's jacket while Kasso was passed out. Okay.
Oh, that's not good.
No. Next day, Kasso found out and he confronted Gary about it. Gary returned 5 of the bags, but he had used 5 of them, and he paid Kasso $50 for them. Kasso took the money, but it was the principle of the matter. It was an honor. Gary had stolen from him, and he beat Gary up several times, and he threatened to kill him over this. And he even told his friends Jimmy Troiano and Albert Quinones that he planned on killing Gary.
It's not personal, it's business.
Just business.
Yeah.
Just business.
Just
I'm a businessman.
Well, I'm sure this guy, Ricky or whatever, I'm sure it was personal to him, but.
Well, it's personal, but yeah.
But, you know, dude, if you got that much shit on you, shouldn't be passing out somewhere where people are going to take it.
Right, but still, the angel dust they were talking about was cheap if it was only $10 a packet.
Oh, God, yeah, $50. It's like, what?
Yeah. June 18th, Dick Kasso drove Ricky to his court date and, for the attempted grave robbing. Ricky pled not guilty, and the trial was set for later that year. On the way back, Dick and Rick got into a fight.
Oh, man. You had to do that.
Of course I did.
Perfect.
Dick essentially disowned Ricky. Apparently Rick asked Dick for a quarter to get a bagel.
What?
And Dick said no, and he kicked him out of his car, like right next to in town, like right in front of a convenience store or something like that. And Rick, he kicked Dick's car.
Okay. Just kicked it?
I only wanted a quarter.
Just a quarter.
But then Dick came back and he handed Ricky $2 and told him that he was cut off from the family for good. Don't call your mom. Don't call your sisters. Don't call me. Fuck you.
Damn.
Wow.
So obviously something happened in that hearing that really, lit Dick's wick
off. Okay, that was much better than what I said.
What do you say? Let Dick's wick?
Yeah.
Let Dick's wick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're not going to get pissed off. You're not going to get pissed off about, Dad, can I get a quarter?
Yeah,
You're not going to get pissed off about the fact that something happened in that courtroom that has never been released or anything like that. And I looked for it. I couldn't find anything about what happened in that courtroom, what led up to that. But, and the versions of the story are slightly different between the two of them, but very slightly.
I'm sure his father probably wanted him to plead guilty.
Probably.
Just to get out of his hair. He's like, dude, just plead guilty. And he didn't. Pissed him off.
But you know what? If he had done that, that would have honestly been the best thing for Ricky.
Yeah.
So that's probably exactly what happened. They probably talked about it on their way to the court.
And he just did the opposite.
And he just, yeah, Dad, I'll do that. And then he's just, not guilty.
Yeah, I can see where that would.
Yeah.
That's God. You know what? I would bet money that that's what's happened. I really would.
Yeah.
So, Ricky was homeless again, couch surfing when he could. He also had made a hut out of pallets out there in the woods and everything. He talked to Father Time about the situation and how despite everything, he was still pissed at Gary from stealing from him. Despite the fact of being disowned, he's still pissed off at Gary for stealing, packets of angel dust from him, which Gary paid for.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah, half.
Well, no, that's right. He gave the other half back.
Right, he gave the other half back and paid for. Yeah, so
maybe he wasn't charging $10 for him. Maybe like $50 wasn't enough, and he just gave him. I don't know.
It's the principle, man. It's the principle.
It's the principle. I know you stole from me.
But
Gary, you sad sack.
Father Time told him that, like, bro, there's no future for you, man. He suggested just cashing out and coming to him. And I don't think that he meant kill Gary. I think that what he meant was saying the two of them get the hell out of town and just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever he meant, Kasso pretended to be over it and invited Gary to a party. Gary, thinking that they were straight, agreed. On June 19th, 1984, mind you, one day after Kasso's court date and being disowned, Gary showed up at their spot in the Azteca woods. Ricky Kasso, Jimmy Troiano, and Albert Quinones were there waiting. They were all under the influence of multiple drugs, and it was apparently a pretty good party.
Oh, yeah.
Gary felt at ease. They got a good bonfire going, after not being able to get it lit at first because it had rained and everything. Ricky had taken off his socks and lit them on fire to try and get it going. And then he's like, Gary, give me your jacket. And Gary's just like, just take the fucking sleeves off of him. So Ricky cut off the sleeves, burned them and everything, and that worked. It started the fire. They're all baked, and Gary said, "What?
Dude, I got a vest now. Awesome."
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I'm telling you, this is all in the research. I am not embellishing at all in any of this. In fact, I've even left some things out. But Gary then told Kasso that he had a funny feeling that Kasso was going to kill him, and Kasso said, "What?
Dude, I'm not going to kill you. Are you crazy?"
Before too long, the two started fighting. They were rolling on the ground, and Jimmy had actually come up and kicked Gary in the ribs. Gary got up, and then when he did, Kasso pulled a knife out and stabbed Gary. Gary then took off and ran about 20 feet, but Kasso caught him. He threw Gary to the ground, and Jimmy then handed Kasso the knife that he had dropped. He then stabbed Gary multiple times, pulled him up to taunt him while Jimmy and Albert held him up. Kasso made Gary say, "What?
I love Satan."
You do?
Oh, God.
Paul,
That's
you all right?
That's with an A, not an I. I'd like to buy another vowel.
I totally set you up there, Paul. Good job. good job. Way to go. Yeah. Totally set you up for that one.
Oh, no. Yeah, I saw it. I heard it. I was waiting. He covered it well.
Yeah, he did. But then, he did say that, that he loves Satan. And then Kasso began stabbing Gary repeatedly, and Gary then started screaming, "What?
I love my mother."
It's crazy to think about what you might say when you're being freaking stabbed to death.
Right.
According to Christopher Lee, you don't say anything.
Yeah.
You just go, and that's it. It's over.
Well, if you're using a freaking dull pocket knife to do it.
Oh, yeah, you're probably not getting much penetration.
Right. Kasso and Jimmy then grabbed Gary by the legs and dragged him deeper into the woods. They then sat Gary up and stabbed him some more, including in his face and everything. And his eyes were apparent. It was reported that his eyes were popped out.
Whoa.
More than likely, it was just repeated stabbing and stuff like that, which we'll get to. And just for shits and giggles, put a knife in that. Once it was done, Albert took off, but Kasso and Jimmy covered Gary with leaves and branches. Then they met back up at Albert's house and they cleaned up while Albert's family was asleep. Gary's family never reported him missing because of how frequently he would run away.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's probably just gone off again, whatever. But several days later, friends began asking around, like, has anybody seen Gary? But nobody had. Several days later, Gary's mother got a phone call and an eerie voice said, "What?
You'll never see your son again because I fucking killed him."
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Of course it was Kasso.
Well, no shit.
Must have been tripping when he made that call.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, he was always tripping.
Yeah.
He's always high. He was the acid king.
Pawn.
But yeah, he couldn't keep his mouth shut, and he started bragging to his friends about killing Gary. And that's usually what happens with these teenage killers. There were some people who didn't believe Kasso. They were, and those people were taken to Gary's corpse to prove it. And none of the so-called friends of Gary's told anybody.
Do you want to see a dead body?
Pretty much.
Started one of the greatest movies ever.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
But they were afraid of Ricky. Yeah, and yeah, he had killed Gary, so what's to stop him from killing them?
Exactly. Don't need to kill all of you, Ace. I'm just going to kill you.
Right.
Or something like that. Anyway, sorry, enough staying by me. Moving on.
But Jimmy Troiano had bragged to his girlfriend about the murder and tried to get her to go see the body. And she told him to fuck off. And then
because that's a romantic date.
Yeah. And then she told her father, who called the police.
Good for her.
Yeah, Kasso and Jimmy tried to hitch a ride with an older relative of Jimmy's who was about to leave for California. I think they were in a band that was about to go on tour.
Probably,
but
yeah.
of course. I'm not sure, but I think that they were. But they obviously said no. We're not taking you two fucking teenage losers on tour with us when we're going to be starving to death anyway.
Right. Oh, yes.
It's already a sinking ship. We ain't in one.
Right.
The glorious life of being an opening act.
Right.
You got to drive yourself. You take turns. You sleep in the van. You're lucky if you got enough money for gas to get to the next place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But Jimmy and Ricky knew that they had to get out of town, so they went to upstate New York to buy a car and to disappear.
Okay.
Gary's body was discovered by police on July 4th after the call from Jimmy's girlfriend's dad. This was 15 days after the murder. His body was mostly skeletal at that point because, contrary to, what we think down here in Florida, it gets hot up there during the summer in New York.
And
there's critters. I mean, it was in the woods,
there's
right?
Critters, yeah.
There's critters. He was snacked upon.
Yeah, but his body was mostly skeletal, and they thought that he had been decapitated, but the head had just come off due to decomp.
Oh, does that happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. That's what happened because, like, later in the autopsy, there was no signs of a decapitation.
Well, I mean, they were stabbing him in the face. I mean, they could have severed something.
They didn't cut his neck. They didn't decapitate him, but they had a pocket knife. But Kasso and Jimmy had successfully made it to upstate New York and had acquired a car. Ricky Kasso and Jimmy Troiano were a lot of things, but one thing that they definitely were not was remotely intelligent.
Yeah.
Did they register the car in their name?
No. It was probably a stolen car that they just bought.
That's what I was thinking. They probably stole it.
Oh, yeah. True. That's probably the only thing they could get.
Yeah. But they came back to Northport.
What? What the fuck, dude?
They parked the car in a parking lot just to sleep in Northport, and they were going to head out the next morning.
Fucking idiots.
They could have literally gone anywhere else. A truck stop, behind a shopping center in New Jersey.
Yeah.
In anywhere.
I think they were so freaking high that they made a circle. They thought they were going somewhere else. They thought they were going west, but they going east.
Three lefts make a right.
Yeah.
Didn't we pass that 7-Eleven that I've seen every day of my life?
Yeah. They're like, this place looks familiar. Let's stop here.
Yeah, this looks good. I feel comfortable here, like I lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to find us here.
But the police found them, and the police were already looking for them, but this was just a suspicious car in a parking lot. The police didn't know it was these two chuckleheads until they woke them up.
Oh, goddamn.
So it's just like, yeah, why go? You don't go back to the scene of the crime.
God.
Well, unless they had that thought in their drug-addled minds that they won't be looking for us around here. They think we've ran away. They're looking for us everywhere else, but not here.
You know, you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, dude, you know. I can't tell you how many movies they do that shit in.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're like, you know, we'll put you right here. They're never going to look for you here. They're going to think you're on the other side of the country or something. But, well, not them. They couldn't have got that far, but you know what I mean.
No. But they could have gotten to like Philadelphia or something like that.
Or anywhere but back
anywhere
home.
But back home, yeah. I mean, hell, they probably could have just gone into New York City.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They could have gone to just New York City and disappeared. And
yeah.
Hoboken.
Lots of places to hide in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jimmy surrendered without incident, telling the cops, "What?
I always do square business with the cops."
The fuck does that even mean?
Oh, he's trying to kiss ass, is what it means.
Yeah. But I mean, okay.
Kasso resisted and tried to stab a cop with a knife that he had on him, but he was subdued before he could hurt anyone. And I imagine the cops weren't taking any chances, if you get my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
Pretty sure Ricky got his ass whooped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. He attacked a police officer with a knife, dude. They could have killed him.
Yeah, they could have. Well, wouldn't matter.
Suicide by cop.
Yep.
Wouldn't matter.
There's a thing.
But okay, fuck it. Put a knife in that.
Oh, god damn
it. He was taken to the police station and charged with second-degree murder. What do you think? Do you think that he intended to kill Gary, or do you think it was actually second-degree murder?
Oh, I'm sure he intended to kill him.
Yeah, to me, that it's first-degree murder.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
That had always been the plan. Or at least that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
it was
whatever.
It was an unplanned plan. Finally planned.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't planned because they obviously didn't have a grave dug for him or anything to hide him. Yeah. But, I mean, it was in the back of his mind the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, first degree or second degree?
It's the heat of the passion of the moment.
Yeah.
Because they were all freaking just
okay.
Baked.
So it is second degree.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless Father Time comes up and says something.
Father Time's time is limited.
Okay.
But That's the only spoiler I'm giving you. But Kasso admitted to the murder, and he even told the police that he had forced Gary to say that he loves Satan, and he even confessed to bringing people to see the body. Albert Quinones was brought in, and he confessed to his involvement, and he was offered immunity in exchange for testifying against Jimmy and Kasso. He took the offer, but he later claimed that the police beat the confession out of him.
Well, yeah, dude. You know, snitches get stitches, dude.
It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe it happened. I'm betting it didn't. I'm betting that Albert Quinones was sitting there like, yes, sir. No, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
But he had, like I said, dude, he had to tell that story so he didn't get beat up for being a snitch. They beat it out of me, dude. They beat me until I couldn't think, and all I did was I told them what they wanted to hear.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The police then made a press release. Basically, it said that both Kasso and Troiano were charged with second-degree murder. Kasso was a member of the satanic cult that worships and performs rituals to the devil, and that Gary's murder was a human sacrifice to the devil.
Man, no such thing as bad publicity.
And then they go into actual facts, talking about the bags of angel dust that Gary had stolen, and that Kasso had wanted revenge. Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
But it then goes into the act of murder, you know, like we've already mentioned. It, you know, tells everything. But they also said that Kasso cut out Gary's eyes. You know, like I said, there was like a bunch of like blows to the head with a knife. He didn't cut them out. They just, it's just whatever. And he had been, yeah, exactly. It wasn't like a,
yeah, it was. Yeah, he didn't plan on doing it. It happened.
Yeah, right. And then get this.
Oh no.
This is something that Kasso said. He had heard a crow cry, which Kasso believed to be signaling, Satan signaling his approval on the murder.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know if Kasso just said that in his confession or if the police just made that up. Either way, I don't believe that happened.
Nah.
And if Kasso did say that, he made it up.
Yeah, because this was at night, right?
Yeah, it's at night.
Yeah.
Crows aren't out at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That bullshit.
He'd have been better off saying it was like a werewolf or something.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's
a wolf howl or some shit, you know what I mean?
Paul, good point. I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, crows aren't out at night.
Nope. Owls. Could have been an owl.
No, he said it was a crow. Caw, caw! That's not the sound that owls make.
Owls do make some weird sounds, but yeah, they don't.
But they don't go caw. No, I've been creeped out by owls at night sometime. Yeah, you're right, they do. But it's just like, and I'd hear, I was like, what the fuck was that? And I'd see a owl fly off, and say, okay, But
that's the whole basis of the Mothman.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
indeed.
There was just big owls. There was no Mothman. But anyway.
In just a few hours, the media swarmed Northport. Before too long, the entire country was seeing and reading stories about satanic cults. One even adding that Gary, that as Gary was stabbed and mutilated next to a bonfire, other cultists were chanting and dancing around the fire.
That's the press, all right.
Yeah.
Before too long, other nearby jurisdictions were even contacting Northport, trying to link Kasso and his, quote, cult, unquote, to unsolved cases that they had. The day
was Dallas one of them?
Oh my God.
We still can't go to Dallas because of that episode.
Not to mention all the episodes that Dick Darwin has been in since then. Hello, everybody. No, no.
Yeah, let's not bring this.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. I could have. I could
Yeah.
have.
If you'd only known I was going to go there. You should have, though.
I should have, yeah.
It's all good.
But
that's my job. Make comic relief.
The date of the murder was initially reported to be June 16th, when it was actually 3 days later on the 19th. Yeah.
Okay.
Fake news.
Yeah. First one. Ding.
But get ready.
All right.
Before Kasso could address all of the allegations of being in a satanic cult, he hung himself with a bed sheet in his jail cell on July 7th, 1984, just 2 days after being arrested.
Ah, what a wimp.
Chicken shit, motherfucker. Goddamn.
It's been reported that when inmates learned that the kids who they were watching on TV was in jail with them, they were telling him that his life was over, or they might as well
hang up. And then they started chanting, "Hang up, hang up."
Yeah.
One news report said that Kasso's parents blamed the police for his suicide because he was high on mescaline when he was arrested, and that makes no sense. And I don't know if that was true or not. Yeah, they disowned him.
Yeah.
What do they care at this point? Trying to cash in, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
probably.
That was the end of that, though.
All right.
Another victim of the media sensationalism was the Knights of the Black Circle. They were dubbed as the satanic cult that was behind the murder, and that Kasso was the leader. That was not true. Kasso probably knew them, but these guys were mostly in their 20s. They're not going to hang out with a 17-year-old kid.
And they weren't a cult.
No.
And they weren't a cult.
But that didn't stop the Holy Rollers. They bust into Northport to protest it. Northport to protest it as being a hotbed for Satanism. They were bust in. And the media was all too happy to give them screen time. Before too long, heavy metal music and videos were being blamed because Kasso was wearing an ACD shirt when he was arrested. They even started comparing Kasso to Charles Manson, and his mugshot appeared next to Charles Manson's in many newspapers and magazines.
Why? Manson didn't kill anybody. He had other people do it.
Yeah.
I know!
This kid killed somebody.
We could literally do an entire episode on just how batshit crazy the media was over this case alone.
Yeah.
For example, what
and busing in protesters, man, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Right? You know, thing.
Yeah.
Surprised Westboro Baptist Church wasn't out there.
Oh, I bet they were.
Yeah. That's God hates heavy metal.
God hates everything.
That's the that's what the Westboro Baptist Church should just deal with their protests. God hates everything.
Yeah.
Good point.
Hates everything but us. We're the only ones that God loves.
We're the only ones. Yeah, that's cults.
Yeah.
But one reporter literally accused AC/DC of being a blood cult and that it meant Antichrist, devil's children. That's where that originated from. This case is where that originated.
Wow.
Dude,
okay.
yeah, I mean, they know. I mean, they did. Yeah, no, they obviously did research on AC/DC.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that Angus doesn't drink.
Right.
Never drank in his life.
Right.
You know, I mean, dude, they write something. Yeah, it's Highway to Hell. It's like it's where you're gonna go if you know you're on the Highway to Hell. It's not like you're coming to us. I mean, I'm not saying they're Christian or anything, but you know what I mean. They weren't Satanists. Just, I mean, okay, yeah. Angus had devil horns on his head. Who gives a fuck? Nobody cared. You know, dude. Rob Halford wore fucking gay London leather boy clothes and made a whole lot of straight men do it. It has nothing to do with going to hell,
right?
Or worshiping Satan.
And the thing is it's just so freaking ridiculous and everything. It's just like, yeah, who took the brunt of all of this craziness? It was heavy metal and Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
What about all the fucking movies that came out? The movies got a pass. The movies got a fucking pass.
Hollywood always gets away with everything.
Yeah, The Omen, The Exorcist. You know, it was all heavy metal, and that's like, but this was the case that like literally lit the fire under everybody's assholes about blaming heavy metal for it. This was the case that did it.
So this is the reason for the PMRC.
Yes. That came very shortly later.
Yeah.
But
shortly later. I was hoping you'd say that eventually.
But AC/DC and every other band that came under fire during the Satanic Panic laughed all the way to the bank. Check out episode 21. Surprisingly, we didn't touch on this case in that episode. We covered other similar ones though, one of which we'll be covering on its own episode. Well, actually, two that I can think of that we'll be covering eventually, one of which will be like a multi-part episode, obviously, the West Memphis 3.
Memphis 3.
What happened to Jimmy?
Oh, Jimmy. That guy.
Yeah, what happened to Jimmy?
Jimmy. He started making subliminal suggestions and everything to the wrestler R-Truth. You know, okay, never mind. Jimmy signed 2 confessions about his involvement, but recanted them. Albert, testified that Jimmy helped Kasso, but Jimmy's attorney questioned Albert's judgment because he was high. The case went to a jury trial, and in April 1985, Jimmy was acquitted of second-degree murder.
All right. Why? Because he got high?
Because he got high?
Because he got high. Oh, God. This case was one of the first cases where heavy metal was blamed in the Satanic Panic, and it only got worse. It became a witch hunt, and anybody who liked heavy metal was a suspect in every crime that was ever committed, and this was nationwide. Rolling Stone writer David Breskin went to Northport and began interviewing the kids that were around there. He put together an article called Kids in the Dark, which told the real story. I used it somewhat, and we'll link it, but it's behind a paywall. I used it as much as I could before the fucking subscribe. But it's really freaking good. It's really freaking yeah, and I could have written this entire episode just on his article. But Breskin is the only journalist that Albert, the hell is his last name? Quinos has ever talked to.
Okay.
a week after Breskin's article broke, Pat Toussaint, a.k.a. Pagan Pat and Father Time, committed suicide.
You get that knife back?
No.
Yeah, too free.
Dude, your knife budget must be fucking astronomical. You're not taking knives back?
I lost this one because he laid down on a railroad track and let a train hit him.
Oh.
Ow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. There's been many songs, books, documentaries, even a movie based on this case. Like Faster Pussycat even wrote a song about this case.
What song?
You have to ask me that.
You brought it up.
Hold on, I'll look. Hold on.
Well, we know it wasn't Bathroom Wall.
No.
And what was the other one?
I think it was on the same album, though. No, it wasn't on the same album. It was one of their later albums. Hold on.
What was that ballad they had that was like
the ballad of Jane?
No, that was LA Guns.
Then what was the other one? There was two. They both came out at the same time.
They had one that was
House of Pain.
House of Pain. Yeah. But I bet that's not the song. It was.
No, it's not. House of Pain that's a great song.
Yeah.
For a guy that's a Nazi, yeah.
Huh?
The singer for the band, Tie Me Down, however you want to say his name. He's a friggin'
Nazi.
He dresses up like a Nazi. At least he does.
Really?
At least he does the times I've seen him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, he was full on Nazi mode. I'm just speculating. He may not be a Nazi.
Yeah.
Okay,
He sure looks like one.
It was on the Wake Me Up When It's Over album, and it was called Crying Shame.
Okay.
Yeah. Weezer did a song about it called Say It Ain't So.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Say It Ain't So was about that?
Yep.
You could almost do a CKCB spinoff for music.
Right?
I've already done one.
Yeah. You can continue. It
was the music. It was the music of mine that I've used in the podcast. There was 8 songs.
Well, I think he means like we could just talk about like songs that were about stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because we could do that, dude. We all like music. We all into that shit. We could do that shit for hours.
Yeah.
Without a script.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, these songs are about this. Okay, let's go.
CKCB music 4-hour documentaries.
Actually, today I listened to that Faster Pussycat song and everything, and I couldn't understand what the hell the guy was saying.
Yeah, well, you know.
So, but that's one of the ones that came in there, and then obviously Weezer saying it. So, but there's been like several, books, documentaries, and even a movie made about the case. There are some people to this day that believe that this whole thing actually was a satanic cult. There have been many songs, books and documentaries, even a movie made based on this case where, people to this day believe that this whole thing actually was a satanic cult. Just like there are still two people. Just like there are still people who believe it in every other case like this. And what I have to say to them is the cults aren't going to flaunt it like that. And the people who believe it mostly are fundamentalist Christians who may very well be in a cult themselves. Mic drop. And I'm done. That's what I got.
All right. I was waiting for you to really drop the mic, but you've done that before, so.
But I'm not. I ain't dropping this mic.
Yeah, right. Dude, he's got the Shure that's like the be all end all of podcasting mics.
This isn't the Shure.
No, I was talking about Paul. Paul's got the Shure.
Oh yeah.
In case there's a guest, in case there's a guest in the studio.
Oh, you got two of them.
Oh no shit! Look at him! Look at him! Look at him!
Dude, he spent more money on those mics than I spent on all four of my fucking.
That was a BOGO.
Mics.
That was actually a BOGO.
You really bought one?
I think on Amazon, like about almost about 2 years ago.
SM7s.
Yeah, it's like what?
Damn, dude, those mics are expensive.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they're not like Neumann expensive, but they're like
Still a BOGO. I mean,
they're like $300-400.
Yeah,
the mic that I dropped.
Well, I know it was your SM.
It was a 58.
SM58, yeah. Dude, you know, I mean, both shorts, SM57, SM58, dude, those are indestructible.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking roadies build stages with those. They hammer nails in with that shit. Dude, I wouldn't drop. I'm just kidding. I was thinking though you might have had another mic hooked up that you were going to drop, but
no. And by the way, both of y'all check your phones because I've sent y'all both like two pictures. One is of Ricky Kasso, and the other is of me when I was around Ricky Kasso's age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're like, dude, spitting image.
Which one's you?
I'm the one with the guitar, asshole.
Well, dude, it's hard to tell. I mean, I think his eyes might be a different color, but dude,
my eyes are blue. His eyes are brown.
Yeah,
based on.
But it's hard to tell. Yeah. Hey, oh yeah, no, that has to be you, dude, because you're wearing a Star Trek shirt. It's like me and my Star Wars shirts.
I don't know if you noticed the cup I was drinking out of.
I can't see it.
I can see it. What I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's one of the new logos for Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
I want to go to that. I wish freaking Disney would, just let me buy a ticket for that and only that.
You can't?
No, you have to buy a ticket for the entire fucking Disney thing.
Get into the studios and stuff, yeah. We missed out on the Star Cruiser Hotel, man. Yeah,
dude, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that for nothing, dude. It's like $5,000 a night. Yeah, dude. There's no fucking way I would have done that.
Yeah,
but that folded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody would do it. It was too much.
Yeah, only the really, really stupid rich. Not even a stupid rich. It's like the stupid people that had extra money.
Yeah, right. Just the Star Wars fans that were like kids, like in the 70s, like us, that did something with themselves and have more money than they know what to do with. They'd probably love the shit out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, I wish that for the Galaxy's Edge or whatever it's called, I wish they would just let you buy a ticket for that and go do just that.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about the rest of fucking Disney World. I want to go to that Star Wars park.
Dude, you can probably get like a multi-park. Does Disney do multi-park things? Like
multi-pass?
Lily Davis, multi-pass.
Wait, you know what? Fuck Disney. Let's stop talking about them.
All right.
We can bleep Disney out of the bleep. It's like bleep, 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 bleep.
Anyway,
four letter word bleep 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 bleep.
So
anyway, what'd y'all think about this case?
It's good.
It was a good one.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And shit, once again, it's a long ass episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a lot there. I mean, this could have easily been a 2-parter, but I kind of condensed some stuff. But
good. Dude, I got a funny story to tell you. I was waiting for the end because I didn't want to drag it out in the middle anymore.
Okay.
But have you guys, and I just watched this movie again and I forgot how awesome it was. You guys ever seen that movie Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage?
I have not, but
I
I
don't
recently
think so.
rewatched Falling Down, and I have a different perspective on that movie.
Yeah,
No?
that happens. But dude, in Drive Angry, Nicolas Cage died and escaped from hell, basically.
Huh.
But the whole thing is like, dude, so, and this other guy comes out after him, and he comes across these two guys like digging up a grave, kind of like we were talking about, to worship Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, Satan, the real Satan, hates it when you do that shit. Knock that shit off. and then later on, and he goes he basically explained that hell is a prison and Satan is a warden of the prison. He's not like something to be worshipped. He's just the warden of a prison.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an amazing fucking twist on things.
Wow.
But I mean, dude, that movie, it's so over the top. I mean, it's Nicolas Cage, so it is way over the top.
Yeah.
The shit that they do. I mean, dude, it's violent. I mean, there's guns blowing people up everywhere, dude. It's a gore filled movie, but it's just, I thought that the twist on hell and everything was just amazing, and I love that movie. I mean, it's not like Nicolas Cage in The Wicker Man, you know, the bees, not the bees,
not the bees.
It's not that. I mean, he's actually better than he was in Ghost Rider. I mean, he's like, I don't know, it's a Ghost Rider-ish kind of movie, but with a slightly different premise. Like, hell isn't hell, it's a prison.
Huh.
You know, and I mean, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, and that was just weird that this came up. Like, and I just watched this like 2 days ago.
Drive Angry.
Yeah, Drive Angry. It's a great movie.
But
yeah, I didn't want to like, when you were talking about the whole worshiping Satan thing, I wanted to bring that up, but I didn't want to interrupt and like drag the story out. So I figured I'd just tell you guys at the end. I mean, if it gets cut out, it gets cut out. But I figured I'd just wait till the end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it's on Tubi. Drive Angry, I think it's on Tubi. I watched it on Tubi. So it's free. Okay. You can watch it for free. I mean, as long as you don't mind commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't mind commercials.
I wonder if we'll get some good promotional bits here. Yeah. Yeah. Tubi, pay us.
Yeah, Tubi.
All right. Anyway, thanks a hell of a lot for listening. We appreciate the hell out of it. Yeah, it's been a great. I had a blast with this episode, Todd. It was nice having you back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. It was nice to be back, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, it was
always
great.
A pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, and Paul, do the goodbye stuff.
Angels. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to listen wherever you follow your podcasts. Overnight.
And until next week, later.
Later.